Here I am in the Unified Classroom. I've just logged in and I'm looking at the dashboard for one of my courses. Which course? The physics course shown at the top. If I want to go and modify scores for a recent assignment, I can click on this course name at the top, and then I can find that course, that block, click the 3 ellipses in the corner of the block, and click Score Sheet. The score sheet is the gradebook in Unified Classroom. Let me go out and show you the other way to access the score sheet. I'm already in the Honors Physics course that I want to see the gradebook for. So I click over on the grading, and then I click Score Sheet. The score sheet shows us all of our students in a list view, and it shows us all of the assignments. Here's a test that I recently added. If I want to start adding grades, I can click into the box and type out the score, or I can use my keyboard. If I click down here, I can skip around, or I can use the up-down arrows on my keyboard to navigate through the students. In the heading of the column, you see the name of the assignment, and if you hover over, you can also see the category. It shows SHA 30% Junior Senior Formative. If you forget how many points this assignment was out of, that information is shown right here in this top box above the assignment. If you make a mistake and you have to edit the assignment itself, for example, maybe it's supposed to be out of 25 points or 35 points, click Edit Assignment right here in the top of this initial box. And whoops, I have unsaved changes. So let me click the X and then save the work that I've done so far to input these grades. Click Save in the bottom right corner. This is a big difference from our Plus Portals gradebook. Everything you do in this gradebook has to be saved by clicking the button. Now that it's saved, let me click Edit Assignment. Right here, I have the assignment details. I can click on the name and edit this. I can choose which classes it's been inputted to. I can assign this assignment only to specific students. If I want, I can add and remove who it has been assigned to, whose gradebook it will appear inside. You can attach standards once those are imported into our system. And you can choose when this column will publish to students and parents. You can change the due date, add descriptions, and so forth. Click Save and Close. Then click the X. Now I've only inputted a couple of students' grades. Let's click again to pull up these other tools. You have students perhaps who have missed the assignment because they were absent. Before, we would go and type ABS into the gradebook. And if you click away, you find this does not work in our PowerSchool gradebook. So let's continue editing. And I'm going to click backspace to delete this entry. If you want to mark that a student was absent, you have to use one of these codes at the bottom. So let me click absent here. The important thing is these codes do not carry any numerical value. Before, in our old Plus Portals gradebook, ABS stood for 0 and it was calculated as a 0. But now the absent code doesn't have any grade amount. So if I want, I need to put a 0 there myself to indicate the student is currently receiving a 0 because she was absent and the work hasn't been made up yet. If you click on another box here, you could mention that the student had missed this or that it was late. You can use these codes as you wish. There is a special code out of the 6, and that's the Exempt Code. Whenever you click the Exempt Code, any number that you type into the cell does not impact the student's final grade. So you have to fill a number into the cell, but when you click Exempt, the number has no impact. That's how PowerSchool operates the exemptions. So whenever I have a student who misses some work but she's exempt, I'm going to put a 0, then I'll click this Exempt Code. The 0 tells me that she didn't actually ever do the work itself. but the exempt code tells me, and tells parents, that the 0 does not count against her. If I want to fill in all of these other students, perhaps they all earned the same score, here's how I fill across many different cells. I'm going to pick one random cell in the bottom, and let's say that many students, they all got 29 out of 30. What I do next is I click this up-down fill button, and watch what happens when I click. It will not override any existing number values. So I click fill, it says 22 scores were updated, and my 0 is there still with the exemption. So that didn't change when I filled the other cells. If you want to delete everything, you simply click on a cell, click backspace on your keyboard to empty the cell, and then you fill the empty cell everywhere in the column. Filling an empty cell is the only time that this fill button overrides existing entries. Otherwise, if I put a 27 here, and then a 20, well, maybe let's say something drastic like a 14, and then I fill the 14, watch this 27, it's going to remain a 27. So that 27 didn't change. The fill button generally does not override other scores. As always, when you finish inputting grades into your score sheet, click the Save button.